my friends. Again, let me say welcome to another episode of John's Sports Corner. And I'm going to tell you this sports is a little bit active out there. And I say that because, we just had a Super Bowl a couple
Mhm.
of days back. And the conversation is still taking place about Samuel L. Jackson and the performance at halftime. Oh, I'm telling you something. People not even talking about the Super Bowl anymore. They're talking about the halftime performance. John, I got you. I'm telling you, you got your hands full because I'm telling you, they're waiting on you, John. So welcome to John Sports Corner, okay?
Thank you so much, Trevor. And hello, universe. Again, as Trevor says, welcome to John Sports Corner on the Sosofat Media Network. Good afternoon. Thank you for visiting John Sports Corner. But before we march into this afternoon's sports roundup, let me again invite you to the Winner's Circle Radio in the Sosa Bone Shop and purchase your choice of merchandise or select merchandise that's in the shop. Of course, there's the Great Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee there and a couple packets and brewing will light up your house. The aroma will light up your house. So, folks, again, go to Winner Circle Radio in the Sosa Bone Shop and see what's there. Let's talk sports. As usual, we start with birthdays. Yesterday, the only Jamaican to win an Olympic medal who is not a track athlete celebrated a birthday in cyclist David Weller, who won a bronze medal. Of course, Sherry Ann Brooks also celebrated a birthday yesterday. She is a world champion medalist. And former Barbados and West Indies cricketer Peter Lashley celebrated today. Milton Small, a former Barbados and West Indies cricketer, he celebrates today. And the former great NBA star, Bill Russell, would have celebrated a birthday today. Again, he played with the Boston Celtics. He coached the Boston Celtics. He also won several championships and Olympic gold medalist. Tomorrow, Randy Moss, one of the great NFL wide receivers, celebrate a birthday. On Saturday, Damian Jacobs, a Jamaican cricketer leg spinner, celebrates a birthday. Also, former Olympic medalist Beverly McDonald celebrates a birthday. On Sunday, Kathy Freeman celebrates a birthday. Who is Kathy Freeman? Well, remember, she's out of Australia and she is Aborigine and the first Aborigine to win an Olympic gold medal when she won the 400 meters in 2000 Olympic Games. Bourgeoisie Nkrumah, a young Jamaican athlete, he celebrates her birthday also on Sunday. So too, another former Jamaican Olympian, Carmen Smith Brown, celebrates a birthday. I am going to leave the best wine for last, and I'm going to start this afternoon with cricket. And the long-awaited special meeting by Cricket West Indies full member shareholders to discuss governance reforms finally took place on Sunday, with all board members present. The introduction of term limits for president and vice president was approved. It is now 3 terms of 3 years for both offices. Barbados Cricket Association President Conde Riley and Guyana Cricket Board President Bisoon Dial Singh, who failed to attend the December meeting, again did not attend Sunday's meeting but sent representatives. The adoption of term limits will take effect with the March 2025 president and vice presidential election. And we understand, of course, that the vote was not unanimous. A couple other governance reforms that caught my eye was listed under gender equality and women's cricket development. The introduction of business class travel for West Indies senior women's team for all long-haul international flights. A single room accommodation for West Indies senior women's team on all international assignments. Of course, rotation of presidents was not adopted. Anyway, and by the way, both President Dr. Shallow, and Vice President Asim Basarat have not said whether they'll run for another term come March 2025. Dr. Shallow, meanwhile, is seeking political office in St. Vincent and the Grenadines government. He is to contest the upcoming general election in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a candidate for the opposition New Democratic Party. Let me update you on round 2 of the Cricket West Indies 4-day tournament that ended on the weekend. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force by an innings and 175 runs over the Windward Volcanoes. Volcanoes 166, KVM Hodge getting 126 runs out of that 166. Harry Pierre 4 for 17, Yannick Carrier 4 for 30, and 114 in their second innings, with Harry Pierre running through the batting order, picking up 8 wickets for 27 runs. Pierre had match figures of 12 wickets for 44 runs. Meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force scored 456 runs. Cephas Cooper 117, Jason Mohammed 103, Yannick Carrier 95, Darren Cyrus 4 wickets for 105 runs. Barbados Pride by an innings and 54 runs over the West Indies Academy. Barbados Pride 581 for 9 declared. Craig Brathwaite getting 212. Jonathan Drake's 117. Johan Lane 4 for 85. Joshua Bishop 4 for 137. West Indies Academy 239. Rivaldo Clark scored 78. Shaim Holder 6 for 70. And Academy 288 in their second innings. Halton Boyne Tuckett was 103 not out. Jamel Warrican 6 for 104. Leeward's Hurricanes by 5 wickets over Jamaica Scorpions. Scorpions 320, John Campbell getting 126, and Scorpions 170 in their second innings, with John Campbell scoring 53. Hurricanes 335. Jamar Hamilton got 93. Marquino Minley 4 for 44. And the Hurricanes 156 for 5 in their second innings, with Joel Andrew getting 62 not out. Guyana Harpy Eagles by 8 wickets over the combined campuses and colleges. The college men 375, with Kyle Corbin getting 102. Johan Jeremiah 84, and they scored 135 in their second innings, with Veerasamy Permaul picking up 4 for 41. The Happy Eagles 343 in their first innings. Tevin Imlak 126 not out. Akeem Jordan 4 for 68. O.J. Shields 4 for 86. And in their second innings, the Happy Eagles 168 for 2. Tevin Imlak 80. Matthew Nandu 69 not out. Well, round 3 got going today. And Barbados Pride and Jamaica Scorpions at Kensington Oval. Jamaica Scorpions bowled out for 231. Odin Smith getting 50. Javor Royal 43. Shaim Holder 3 for 66. While Kemar Roach, Jomel Warkan, and Craig Brathwaite picked up 2 wickets apiece. Barbados closed on 9 without loss. Leeward's Hurricanes, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force at Warner Park. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force 326 for 3 at stumps. Joshua Da Silva 120 not out. Jason Mohammed another century 104 not out. Rakeem Cornwell 2 for 75 so far. And the win was Volcanoes against the combined campuses and colleges at Windsor Park. The college men 136 for 5 at stumps. Damel Evelyn 53 not out. Daryl Cyrus 2 for 28. Kenneth Demba 2 for 46. Guyana Happy Eagles and the West Indies Academy at the Guyana National Stadium. The Guyana Happy Eagles get back Gudakesh Moti in their lineup, but they lose Tajal Ryan Shandapur because of a split webbing on his hand. They also lose Shamar Joseph, still recovering from shin splint injury. Well, the Happy Eagles are stumps, but not stumps. And when rain stopped play, they were 71 for 3. Raymond Perez, 29. Jediah Blades, 3 for 15. Cricket West Indies have unveiled their men and women schedule for 2025. Let's go with the men first. The men will tour Ireland and England in 3 one-day internationals and 3 2020s between May 21st and June 15th. They will play Ireland in 3 one-day internationals May 21st, 23rd, and 25th in Malahide, Dublin. Then 3 one-day internationals against England May 29th at Headingley, June 1st in Cardiff, and June 3rd at the Kia Oval. The England tour then switches to 3 2020s, Game 1 at Trent Bridge, then on June 6th, Game 2 on June 8th at Bristol, and Game 3 June 10th at the Rose Bowl. Windies then return to Ireland for 3 2020s, Game 1 on June 12th, Game 2 June 14th, and Game 3 June 15th, all to be played at the Stormont in Belfast. Then West Indies men face Australia in a home series for 3 test matches and 5 2020s. The first test at Kensington Oval, June 25th to the 29th. Grenada National Stadium gets the second test, July 3rd through the 7th, while Sabina Park gets the third test, July 12th through the 16th, and that is supposed to be a day-night affair. But hopefully, Sabina Park will get their lighting system in order before Australia arrives. Sabina will also host the first 2 2020s, July 20th and the 22nd. Then the series shifts to Warner Park in St. Kitts for Game 3, July 25th, Game 4, July 26th, and Game 5, July 28th. West Indies men also play a home series against Pakistan that will include 3 2020s at the Broward County in Florida, July 1st, August 2nd, and August 3rd. Then the tour moves on to the Brian Lara Cricket Academy for 3 one-day internationals, August 8th, 10th, and the 12th. Let me shift gears now, Trevor, to the women. First up will be ICC Women's World Cup qualifiers scheduled for April 4th through the 18th, where they'll meet Bangladesh, Ireland, Scotland, Pakistan, and Thailand, from which 2 teams advance to the Cricket World Cup August through September. West Indies women then tour England for 3 2020s and 3 one-day internationals. Let's see. Yes. The 2020's game 1, May 21st, at the county ground in Derby. Game 2, May 23rd, at Central County Ground in Sussex. And Game 3, May 26th, at Chelmsford. The first one day is scheduled for May 30th at Spitfire Ground in Kent. Game 2, January 4th at Grace Road, Leicestershire. And Game 3, June 8th at Taunton. Then the West Indies when West Indies women come home for a historic white ball series against South Africa women at the 3Ws Oval in Barbados, marking the first time the venue will host such an international series. The first one day, June 11th, Game 2, June 14th, Game 3, June 17th, then the 3 2020s scheduled for June 20th, 22nd, and 23rd. Now, here is my, if you want to call it so-so issue with the schedule for men. I see only one test series. If that's so, how do we expect our test players to develop? Unless, of course, under new coach Darren Sammy, we'll see test players playing more white ball cricket.
That question we have been raising that question for the last couple of weeks, John, about the lack of I would say consistent training program, and in light of the fact that we are not as strong as India, we don't have as much resources as India. If we are not,
to say the least,
to say the least, we had a good discussion last week about whether or not sports is really recognized in the Caribbean, John, as a integral part of its economic development. Now we know that in the United States and in the UK, cities go overboard, John, to get a sports team in their city. It creates a tremendous amount of jobs, adds a lot of dollars to the economy, and simultaneously brings in a lot of branding, okay, for that particular city. So I still question whether or not the economy of the Caribbean could benefit from a concentrated effort, not only at the local level, but at the political level, as well as the regional level, all the way to CARICOM, where they recognize that sports in other regions plays an integral part in the mental, physical, and economical development, okay, of the country. And I see where on most occasions we say that they are single-minded, one track, okay, where they only look at where they're sitting and they don't see any seats beside them, John. So we need to keep this conversation. We need to open it up and get some of our people who might have a little bang, you know, and people are looking to influence and looking to enter into the various offices, including political office, as you mentioned earlier. Whether or not they're going to use that as a part of their campaign to give our youth, your youngsters, and your athletes more opportunities, okay, to develop in certain areas where they might be well equipped to do so. Okay, rather than shying away from the sports because they have no support, and you cannot expect support from the business, John, when the government does not consider it important. Because if the government considered it important, they would give tax incentives to the business to help to develop the sport. Just like how they give tax incentives to build stadiums, John, in the United States. Okay. The same way they're giving tax incentive down in the Caribbean, places like Jamaica, John, to build hotels. Okay. If you can invest in brick and concrete, why can't you give the same type of tax incentives to business
Mm-hmm.
to develop sports in our communities? That's a question we need to put out there, John. Consistently
Yeah.
ask that question.
Hmm. Yep. Anyway, Trevor, moving along. Certainly, congratulations due to West Indies spinner Jomel Warrican.
Mm.
He beat out Pakistan's Noman Ali and India's Varun Chakravarti for ICC Player of the Month of January award.
Oh,
Warrican took 19 wickets in the recently concluded two-test series against Pakistan. Jasprit Bumrah, that great Indian fast bowler, will not be in India's squad for the Champions Trophy. He is yet to recover from the discomfort in his back from the injury he picked up in the Sydney Test match against Australia. He will also miss the white ball series against England. While the latest scans over the weekend did not reveal anything untoward, there's no confirmation or timeline for Bumrah's return. West Indies cricketers Robman Powell, Shea Hope, and Obed McCoy helped Dubai Capitals win the maiden International League 2020 tournament by defeating Desert Vipers by 4 wickets in Dubai. Vipers 189 for 5 from 20 overs. Max Holden 76, Sam Curran 62 not out. Obed McCoy 2 for 44 from 4 overs. The Capitals 191 for 6 from 19.2 overs. Robman Powell getting 63. Shea Hope 43. David Payne 2 for 28 from 4 overs. Mohammed Amir 2 for 35 from 4 overs. Player of the match was Rahman Powell. Player of the series, Sam Curran. Let's go to the Oval in track and field at Saturday's 46 Western Relays. Monroe's Class 2 athlete, Javonte Smith, sent a massive champs message to his rivals and competitors. He threw a world-leading under 18, 19.16 meters in the shot put. He also won the discus with a throw and personal best of 55.85 meters. Then at Saturday's Camperdown Classic, sprinter Oblique Seville opened his season over the 400 meters and won in a personal best 47.04, which by 400 standards is moderate. But for Oblique Seville, it is his best time over 400 meters.
you know, John, I was listening to Usain Bolt discussing Seville sometime last week on the fix. And
Mhm.
he thinks that if he disciplines himself, John, he is the next one that is really going to carry the baton for Jamaica.
He's pretty good, Trevor.
Yes.
He has been to know a few finals at World Championships and Olympic Games, but just seem to lose a gear in the
Mm,
final.
yes.
So there's some, I don't know if it's a psychological, I mean, like last year's Olympic Games, he picked up a little injury, which
Mm,
I can understand, you know, but certainly he is really one for us for the future. Both
yes.
him and Kishi and Thompson, but some youngsters now are going to put Jamaica back on that sprint, that sprint factory column. you know, yeah. Anyway, Trevor, Zandrian Barnes, meanwhile, won his 400 in an eye-opener season best, 44.97.
Mhm.
Um, Olympic, rather world champion gold medalist Antonio Watson, coming off an injury-riddled 2024 season, won his 400 in a season best 46.03, and he looked good. He looked, he looked, should I say, Antonio Watson. you know. So hopefully he can stay healthy in 2025.
Mhm.
And it's still only early season, but former San Diego High School hurdler Demario Prince, now a Baylor Bear, turning heads. Prince ran a personal best 7.57 seconds over the 60-meter hurdle at the Charlie Thomas Invitational at the Texas A&M University last Saturday. His time moved him up to ninth best on the Jamaica all-time list. And I have been reliably informed that a track meet is coming to Mount Vernon in April. And tri-state athletes will get a chance to match spikes against their Jamaican and Caribbean counterparts. The meet will be called the Next Generation Invitational Relays, but I'll have more information in the ensuing weeks, and the organizers have promised to join us here on our platform sometime before the meet. The development track and field meet scheduled for this weekend in Jamaica. Western Champs tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday at St. Elizabeth Technical High School. On Saturday, the Isaac Henry meet at the National Stadium, and the Further Distance Carnival at Jamaica College also on Saturday. And then next Tuesday, the start of the 2-day Central Athletics Championships at GC Foster College.
Mhm.
You know, let's talk about Isaac Henry, Trevor.
Uh-huh.
When I was in high school, Isaac Henry was my cadet master. Yes,
Mm.
I don't know what was his rank, but he was in charge of the cadet corps in high school.
Mhm.
And then he became, I think, principal of what was the high school now? I forget the high school now. But then he was principal, for a while.
Mm.
Anyway, move along to the football, the one we play with our feet first. Jamaica Reggae Boys coach Steve McLaren expected a stiff challenge from the Trinidad and Tobago Soca Warriors in their two-game friendlies, and that they certainly got. While winning the opener 1-0 in Thursday's game one at the Montego Bay Sports Complex on a Sule Makala late strike in the second half, his first international goal in 4 appearances for Jamaica, and the first win. And I couldn't believe this when I really checked on it, Trevor. But it's the first win for the Jamaica Reggae Boys against Trinidad and Tobago on Jamaican soil in 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then on Sunday, an own goal in the 4th minute of stoppage time in game 2 at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex helped the Reggae Boys earn a 1-1 draw.
Mm.
Now, Reggae Boys coach Steve McLaren will turn his attention to the CONCACAF Gold Cup qualifiers against St. Vincent and the Grenadines next month.
Mm.
And I am waiting to see how many players who we saw against Trinidad and Tobago will be in his squad. I repeat, I've always advocated for more local players in a Jamaica national football team. I believe we have local players who are just as talented, just as good or better than some of the English players selected. They just need opportunity and exposure.
I do agree with you, John. And at the same time, recognizing that every time you import a player, you demotivate
Hmm.
one of your local players who
The local players, of course.
realize that he has been kept off the team because of an import, John. So yes, I
Hmm.
do agree that this is something that should be taken into consideration.
And you know, Trevor, in recent games at home, um, we seem to struggle a little.
Mm.
And I am one of those who believe if more local players were in that team, they would defend that Ice green and gold flag a lot with a lot more intensity than the English born player who is coming into play for Jamaica.
Well,
And that's just my position.
that's logical, John, because when the game is over, they have to come home, John.
Hmm.
If they lose a game, John, they have to come home and face the music, okay?
Hmm.
While the
Hmm.
imported players, if they lose a game, John, they they, they get on a flight and they are missing until the next game.
The next game, they fly, they're gone. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, Jamaica under 17 Reggae Boys, they are in Guatemala for the CONCACAF under 17 Men's World Cup qualifiers. They are drawn in Group H and open their quest with a 3-1 win over St. Lucia on Monday.
Mm.
They actually play Cayman Islands today and El Salvador on Saturday. 8 nations advanced to the 2025 FIFA Under 17 World Cup from these qualifiers. The team is coached by former reggae boy Altimont Butler. I should say Altimont Freddie Butler. Jamaica has sent teams to the 1999 and 2011 Under 17 FIFA Men's World Cups. And you know what I'd like to have seen, though, Trevor? And maybe this is a source of own opinion
Mm.
that senior reggae boys coach Steve McLaren, I think he should have been attending these under 17 qualifiers in Guatemala as an observer to our under 17 players, just to see if there might be an under 17 whom he could invite to the senior squad for the March qualifiers.
John, I'm going to say this. Just the fact that you have to mention the fact that he was not there. John, they are supposed to be attending high school football games that are taking place in the island
Hmm.
because that is where you're going to spot the talent early. Okay?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
you can't wait until they reach a certain 16, 17, 18, 19 years of age, John, before you say that you have access to them. Probably
Hmm.
they might have scouts, probably they might have coaches or recommending kids. But when we look at the soccer machine of the Barcelonas and the Real Madrids, John, they got a minority program where they're taking the kids from their 11, 12 years old, John, putting them in their program, sponsoring the parents to be in the demographic where the kids are being introduced, are being relayed into the program, John. And so
Hmm.
if you look at the history of some of the best players that we talk about right now, you'll find that they were identified as being special,
Hmm.
okay?
And
Not when
groom early.
and groomed early, John, and groomed early.
Hmm. Anyway, Trevor, let me just run through some other scores in the under 19 competition. It's quite interesting. As a matter of fact, I watched number one ranked Mexico defeating number 29th ranked Belize 3 goals to zip last night.
Uh-huh.
And while Mexico was obviously a class above Belize,
Mm.
I like the spirited performance by the Belizeans and the performance of their goalkeeper. I think his name was Eric Rodriguez. It took a questionable penalty call in the first half to breach his nets in the 37th minute. But I think the Belizeans, they're really for a country that only, what is it? I think it's less than 250,000 in their population. To put that kind of under 17 team on the field, I was quite impressed. I saw a couple of players who, to me, exhibited good skills.
Well, John.
Yeah, and the goalkeeper under 17. Yeah, I have to wonder if some professional team in Europe might have been watching and say, but this youngster is pretty good. Maybe we get him,
Well, John, you're right about that, because size as really don't have a lot to do with talent. It's
Mhm.
it's the investment that really works out, and to bring the cream out of the coffee. I mean, we would not have been talking about my good, admired athlete Julian Alfred John from St. Lucia,
Mhm.
and she went up against the United States, the United
Mhm.
Kingdom,
Mhm.
and all the other major population centers, John, population centers, okay?
Mhm.
And she came out as a gold medal winner. So I have to say that you're right, to the extent that if they're only looking at the talent when it is put on a platter to them, then some of them will never change. They'll never taste jerk chicken, John.
And
They-
Trevor, while it's so interesting that Julian Alfred has gotten a lot of press, um, because she's a sprinter.
yes,
But we can't forget Fiala Fand, who won the triple jump for
that's right.
Dominica, their first gold medal at the Olympic Games.
That's right.
you know, so but anyway, Trevor, just some other scores. Let me run through them. Barbados 1-0 over, talking about Dominica. Guyana 3-0 over St. Martin. Haiti 5-0 over St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Guatemala 2-1 over Antigua and Barbuda. Canada 8-0 over Anguilla. Costa Rica 5-0 over British Virgin Islands, and Curacao 2-0 over Turks and Caicos Island. Sagicor Life Insurance have renewed their partnership with the Professional Football Jamaica Limited, PFJL, that will see players and officials benefiting from life insurance and other services that Sagicor provides. Sagicor presented a check of $8 million to assist in providing the services. They will also provide health buses at each of the Jamaica Premier League matches, where health checks will be made available for all players and officials.
Is-
And I said cheers to Sagicor, but I'd like to see more major companies committing to professional sports in Jamaica and its long-term development. Jamaica need to move from the semi-pro amateur arena into the professional arena. And like any sports professional around the world, our so-called pros need to feel assured that come month end or bi-monthly, money will be in their bank account, that they can plan a future, that when they awake each morning, they have a training schedule set out that they have to follow. It is now their job. And I firmly believe with solid corporate support, we'll see our local football and netball, for that matter, grow in leaps and bounds.
John, I'm going to tell you this. I cheer your dream, but from an analytical point of view, when I say let's cut the fat and get down to the bone, leadership in Jamaica when it comes to sports and other industries or categories that has to do with the individual has been very poor. And I say that because one of the greatest development that we have had out of Jamaica, John, one of the greatest development that we have ever had out of Jamaica has been what we call the reggae music industry, John.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, are they teaching reggae music in school, John? Do you are they building studios, John,
Yeah.
in every city, at least in every city in Jamaica, where kids can go, just like you go to the double not these places we used to go in the summer to swim and to do different things. We are in the summer
YMCA.
YMCA, John,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing the importance and the contribution and the presence of something like reggae music. So when you say you have a studio in every parish, John, available for the talent, again, that we say is on the infant stage, John, to be
Mm-hmm.
recognized. If you don't see that coming out of the reggae that has captured the world, John, and I have to say, we have leaders who have blinders on, John.
Hmm.
Because if they never did that for the reggae music industry, I doubt that they're going to do it for soccer, for cricket, for netball, and all the other areas, John, that are being starved right now. So that's one of my social bone moment.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Moving along, more football news, Trevor, and it's a schoolgirl football is off and kicking in Jamaica. And what a difference a year makes.
Mm.
Last year, Excelsior High ramped over Grove 24 to zip.
Oh,
In this year's opener, it took an added time goal for the Eagles of Excelsior, or are the Eaglets, to defeat the Grove ladies 2 goals to 1.
wow.
In the other game of the afternoon, Tivoli Gardens by 5 goals to zip over Meadowbrook. The Excelsior Eagles are 8-time defending champions.
Okay. It's time.
Moving along, Jamaica Premier League football. Well, there was no Premier League football on the weekend because of the friendlies between the Jamaica Reggae Boys and Trinidad and Tobago Soca Warriors. However, there are games on today, midweek games. Humble Lion takes on Racing. Portmore plays Dunby Holding. Tivoli Gardens against Chapelton Maroons. And the first home game for Tivoli Gardens at the Edisiaga complex in the post-COVID era. Malines United against Mount Pleasant. Veer plays Harborview. Cavalier against Montego Bay United. Arnett Gardens against Waterhouse. And the leading goal scorers going into this afternoon's games are Warren Brown of Arnett Gardens with 13 goals, John Morrow Calvin of Cavalier with 12 goals, and Brian Brown, Montego Bay United, and Shanil Thomas, Montego Bay United with 10 goals apiece, Himoni Bailey, Mount Pleasant with 9, and Shaquille Bradford, also Mount Pleasant with 9 goals. In English Premiership, what a game this afternoon between Liverpool and Everton. You talk about a dying moment game as James Tarkowski volley with about 10 seconds to go. Trevor tied the game at 2 apiece for Everton
Mm. Over Liverpool.
and broke the heart of We'll Never Walk Alone, Liverpool.
You, you,
I
you, you mean
tell you,
you mean
matter of fact, VAR,
at Liverpool's liver?
of course, it went to VAR to see if it was an offside goal, and then VAR said, no, good goal. And the game ended at 2 apiece. In UEFA Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain 3-0 over Brest, Juventus 2-1 over PSV, Real Madrid 3-2 over Manchester City.
Oh,
Borussia Dortmund 3-0 over Sporting CP. Now, Jamaica Women's Premier League on the rise, family. And the newly formed Professional Women's Football Jamaica Limited is at the forefront of that rise. The season set to kick off March 1st. That will see 11 teams across Jamaica battle for supremacy. KFC, known as Kentucky Fried Chicken, has given 2.5 million sponsorship to the league. The government is supposed to be handing over $3 million, and there is another company who is providing equipment and kit for the women in the league.
is there an asterisk beside those dollar figures, John?
No, I think it's solid dollars.
You mean?
Jamaican, that is, not US. Let me just clarify, it's Jamaican dollars.
Well, that's why I asked about the asterisk,
So Trevor, as Queen Ifrika says, lioness is on the rise. Let's go across the pond in the Caribbean, so to speak. Of course, in the 2025 Windward Islands Cricket Board Women's Tournament, St. Vincent and the Grenadines by 2 wickets over Dominica at Benjamin's Park in a game reduced to 20 overs. Dominica 93 for 6 from 20. St. Vincent and the Grenadines 94 for 8 from 19.4 overs. Grenada by 4 wickets over defending champion St. Lucia at the Geneva field. St. Lucia 65 in 22.5 overs. Grenada 66 for 6 in 22 overs. And Grenada by 6 wickets over Dominica at Benjamin Fields yesterday. Grenada chased down 34 runs to win. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines by 3 wickets over St. Lucia at Geneva Field. St. Lucia 78 in 19.4 overs. St. Vincent and the Grenadines 79 for 7 in 18.1 overs. The defending champions, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, lose their second game. Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines now will play for the 50-over championship. Trinidad and Tobago, stickmen, that's hockey. They are in Croatia for the Federation of International Hockey Indoor World Championship, and the stickmen have finished 12th in the tournament. They were defeated 7-2 by Belgium, 12-3 by Croatia, and after leading 2-0 over Malaysia, Malaysia came back to defeat them 6-4. In Trinidad and Tobago Premier League, Defence Force 5-1 0.14. The 10th consecutive meeting win for the Defence Force. They are unbeaten so far in the season. San Juan Diablo take 2-1 over Caledonia. Miscellaneous Police 1-0 over Club Sando, while Eagles FC and Phoenix in a 0-0 stalemate. And the Guyana Cricket Board has announced Saturday, March 1st for their next annual general meeting and election of officers. In March 2021, Bisoon Dial Singh was elected unopposed as Guyana Cricket Board president, and as of now, no challengers have emerged to contest the position come March 1st. In fact, neither has Singh confirmed that he will run again. St. Lucia to host the Caribbean Boxing Championships February 27th through March 3rd. The championships last held in 2019. No word yet on how many Caribbean teams will enter. And let's jump now to football that they run with, the Super Bowl. The 59th Super Bowl game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles is done and dusted, as we all know. And as it turned out, the Eagles swooped down and destroyed the Chiefs on Sunday. So there is still no consecutive three-time Super Bowl winner. The Chiefs did achieve one record. They are still the only team to win consecutive Super Bowls and get to the third Super Bowl. Before the game, Trevor, I thought defense would rule the game, but not one-sided.
Oh.
And when I knew the Chiefs were in trouble, that first touchdown, when the Eagles' offensive line just pushed the Chiefs' defensive line into the end zone for Jalen Hurts to score that first touchdown.
John,
I said to myself, what the hell is this?
those six offensive linemen, John, weighed in excess of 1,700 pounds. Every one of them was over 330 pounds, John.
Trevor, such talk about weight. How they talk about weight, Trevor? My grandmother, God bless her soul, I used to love. In fact, my sisters used to be so upset because they said my grandmother spoiled me. But I remember years ago, you remember going out to the airport. It wasn't, you could go on the scales and you had access to a lot of stuff. You were barred from stepping on. And Trevor, as an 8-year-old, I saw my grandmother get on a scale, and it's the first time I've ever seen anybody get on a scale, and the needle went past 200.
You mean the scale rotated?
And I have never forgotten. I said, what? No, man, my dear granny. But Trevor, after that touchdown, the Eagles defense went to work.
Oh, yes.
And completely outplaying the Chiefs offense. Or should I say, manhandling the Chiefs.
I mean, we're looking at back-to-back sacks and interception, John, in 3 plays.
Trevor, a couple of times the camera, of course, focused on Patrick Mahomes. And when I looked at Patrick Mahomes, I saw like fear in his eyes.
He was scared.
To me, the look of a man who wished he wasn't there.
When you realize that your defensive linesmen cannot protect you, John. When you hit the ground two consecutive snaps with a guy weighing over 240 pounds sitting on your chest, John.
That hurts.
It hurts.
Now we're not talking about Jalen Hurts. Well, let me tell you something, Trevor. I did that cockiness and assuredness that you would see with Patrick Mahomes. I didn't see it. And, I was listening to a sports program this morning, and I heard that one of the callers say something, and I just said, I want to mention that, You remember when Mike Tyson used to fight? Mike Tyson said once that everybody come into the ring with a plan until they get hit.
Plan
I said, that's exactly what happened. Patrick Mahomes, They had a plan. The Chiefs had a plan.
Yes.
But boy, did he get hit, And, well, and after a less than spectacular halftime show, as far as I'm concerned.
John. I would have to call that the most spectacular halftime show, because that was not an halftime show for entertainment, John. That was an halftime show for education or edutainment. Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Because it laid bare America, John. The black and the white. The flag, the Uncle Sam's, John. It put something out there that people did not expect, in light of the fact that you do not teach black history in America. Therefore, black history is not American black history, apart from Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and one or two others, not Turner, that they don't. That's we until we come to the country, we never even heard about them. Okay, the fact that you're gonna lay a burka beer in front of nearly 80 million viewers, John. Yeah, that was scary. That was scary.
But then the second half, Trevor, the Chiefs came out with the first drive positively. And I said, then I said to myself, but they can't overcome 24-0. And after I think the first down that they made, our second one, Patrick Mahomes was sacked twice.
Right.
The defense rose up again.
Yes, like sit down, don't get carried away now. Sit on your ass.
But what's his name now? Devonta Smith caught that touchdown to make it 34 zip.
Lightning in a bottle. Lightning in a bottle, John.
Game over.
I mean, Earth did a lot, but that pass, John, was signature.
Yeah. And I said game over.
Yeah. That pass put the fear in all the safeties that were back there, John.
But then again, it seemed after that the Eagles defense kind of took their foot off the throttle.
well, they were being merciful.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
were celebrating before the fourth quarter started.
Yeah, you're right.
They were celebrating. Okay.
And while Jalen Hurts did run for a touchdown and threw for 2, I thought the Eagles front four should have been share that MVP.
Well, I would disagree with you, because when he used to get sacked, they were not sharing the sack.
Yeah.
So they just balance the scale. But what he did reminded me, John, of what Doug Williams did that time for the Giants, John.
Back then, with the Washington Redskins at the time.
Washington Redskins, John. It reminded me of Doug Williams at that time, John. And I say, yes, there is fear out there now. Okay? There is fear. Because I hate to say this, but there's always this situation where I think that Mahomes was overhyped, overplayed, okay, by the media. Not that he's not good, John, but I think that it was a beautiful white hope, John. Okay? I think it was a beautiful white hope that he was going to do something, John, that had never been done before. Okay? And I have to say that he is not the best quarterback that has ever played the game.
But Trevor, on Sunday, yeah, on our program, Sunday program, I was speaking with our engineer, and I said to him, I said, you know something, Eagles going to win the game. I think Eagles are going to win. And I said to him, the reason why I think that the Chiefs have won the Super Bowl 2 in a row,
Right.
and they have played a third season. And sometimes we might not see
The cracks.
yeah, but players begin
Yeah.
players age.
And that is why I made the statement before, John, that I think he was being overhyped. Because when you, as you say, go through those extensive playoff run, John, year
Mm-hmm.
after year, when you're playing 21 games versus the other teams playing 18 games, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it catches up on you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
people, in other sports, basketball, for example, they recognize that and they start cutting down on the minutes of their aging players so that
Mm-hmm.
they can keep them, ready and
Fresh.
keep them fresh. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, granted that some of us analyze the game into the extent that, listen, Michael Jordan as a basketball player, they say he is the GOAT, but he never won as many championships as Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. And if you're gonna yeah, and if you're gonna count greatest by championships, even Robert Ory has more championships than Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm. you know?
Yes.
yeah.
So so
Bill Russell. Hmm.
so yes.
Bill
So
Russell.
yes. So when you're only exposed to the sunlight on a Monday, John, and you don't see what it was like the Friday before, then you're gonna say that the sunlight on Monday is the best sunlight you have ever had, I ever enjoyed. Okay. And this is what's going on now with our access, John, to television, to the broadcast medias that we have now, to people being able to go in front of a microphone and drive and hype the crowd, John, and talk
Mm.
about a player consistently so much, John, that even a player that you might regard as number 10 on the totem pole, John, get hyped as being among the goats.
And I tell people, Trevor, that if Magic Johnson didn't have that
Oh my,
um
oh my.
thing, that issue, there's
Michael,
as far as
Michael,
I'm concerned,
Michael would not have those championships.
that's right.
Okay,
If that
no,
age thing never my Magic,
that's right.
I tell you, I mean, I never forget that game, that college final that he played before he went to the NBA,
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
against Larry Bird,
oh
Indiana.
yeah, oh yes,
you
oh yes.
know. Anyway, Trevor, as I say, the Super Bowl football is done and dusted now. Now it's baseball time.
Oh well.
yeah. And I want to close this afternoon's sports update here on the Sosofat Media Network on Sosofat TV.
Mm-hmm,
And let me take you back to February 12th, 1961, as Pakistan's Mushtaq Mohammed, at 17 years and 82 days, became the youngest player to score a test century when he scored 101 against India in Delhi. He is the younger brother of the great Pakistan batsman Hanif Mohammed. Happy Valentine's Day, family! Whatever you do, enjoy to the max. And that's where I draw stumps on John Sports Corner this Wednesday afternoon on the Sosofat Media Network. Remember to go to Winner Circle rates to the Winner Circle store, radio store, in the Sosofat shop and pick up Look at the merchandise that's there. Find something that you love, including the Great Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee. Enjoy the rest of the week, family.